Hi guys, it's Wilma. Welcome to my magtober video. So this is gonna be part 1 out of 2 videos. This is the first video in this little series. It's not really a series, it's just 2 videos. But as you might be aware of, it's October and there's a lot of art challenges going on. I'm currently participating in Magtober, which is a prompt list created by Max Monroe, and I'm basically just making art every day in October following this prompt list. This is, as I said, part 1. In this video I'm gonna show you a few artworks, not every single one, but a few artworks from week 1 and 2 of this challenge. Obviously we're still in October, so I'm still participating in the challenge. It's not over yet. So in the second video I'm gonna focus a little bit more on talking about how the challenge went, what I learned from it, and all that stuff. But in today's video there's gonna be a little bit more talk about like my goals with it, why I'm doing this specific prompt list, and I'll talk about the art and whatnot. I don't think I need to explain too much, but yeah, I'm very excited. I love doing this in October, so it's been really fun and it's been fun to share it with people. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen these art pieces already, but I love to do videos to talk more about them and show the process of my art. So I'm gonna stop talking and we're gonna get into the video. I hope you'll enjoy and let's do it. So before we get into it, I just want to mention I didn't film every single art piece that I made, so I'm only going to show 5 art pieces from week 1 and 2 because they are the ones that I filmed and also some of the ones that I like a lot. So for the first piece that I made, the prompt was sour candy, and I wasn't really sure what to draw at first, but then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like a self-portrait where I'm like holding candy like Sour Patch Kids. So that's what I ended up doing, and funny enough, well, if you didn't know, I probably should add some context. I've done Magtober 2 years before, and every single other time that I've done it, I've started out by doing a self-portrait. Now the first year that I did it back in 2020, the prompt was actually a self-portrait, but it wasn't for the second year that I did it or this year that I did it. So I think that's pretty funny that I've always done a self-portrait for the first prompt. It hasn't really been intentional, but then I've realized like, wait, I've always started out with doing a self-portrait. So I think that's pretty funny and probably something I'll continue to do as like a tradition. Anyway, I'm not really gonna talk specifically about every single art piece. Maybe I'll like comment a little bit about it, but overall I want to talk about a few different things. The first thing that I want to talk about is what my goals were going into this challenge. Now, I have a video from last year when I did this challenge, and in that video I was talking about my goals, and my goals this year have been pretty much the same as last year. So that is that I just want to complete as many prompts as I can, but I'm trying to not push myself too hard because I am a full-time student right now, so I don't have all the time in the world to dedicate to this. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to complete every prompt, and so going into it, I made sure that I was aware of that, and so I wouldn't feel bad if I skipped a day, because the first year that I did this, I did complete every single prompt, and that just wasn't realistic for me this year, nor was it last year. And so I think it's been really good for me to kind of like adjust my goals to, where I'm at in life and what I'm able to do. And I just haven't been able to do every single day, and that's totally fine. I definitely prefer it that way because doing art every single day for a month is kind of crazy. I think so far I've skipped like maybe 4 or 5 days, and I think that has been so much more beneficial than if I were to do every single day, because if you're doing that you have to push yourself so hard, and I don't really believe in doing that, especially with art. I feel like you can't really always push it. I definitely feel like you can push yourself to a certain point to get stuff done, but then there's also a part of you that just needs the time to recharge, to gain more inspiration and to feel motivated. I definitely feel like it's been really good for me to just not have that pressure and to know that I don't have to complete every single day. Now, I've tried to like not skip like 2 days in a row, which I have succeeded with. There has been times where I've skipped 1 day and then I've done a day and then I've skipped another day, which, I don't think that's a problem at all. It's really up to everyone what they want to do, and this is just the way that I've preferred it. So yeah. Something else that has been my goal for this year has been to still do my best and to not settle for stuff that's mediocre. That doesn't mean that like everything I've done has been like the best thing that I've done, but I've definitely tried to push myself to do good work, because I feel like the other 2 years that I've done this, you know, I've always wanted to do my best work, obviously, like try my hardest, do good art, but that isn't always possible. But this year I've definitely like at least had in mind that I want to do good art. Like I want everything that I make to be something that I enjoy. Now, obviously that's not realistic for everything that you make to be something that you like. I think so far there's been like 2 art pieces that I've made that I haven't liked, and I'm like taken down on Instagram because I was just like, these are so ugly, like I can't keep this up. But overall, I've been pretty happy with the things that I've been able to create, because I've had the standard of wanting it to be good and not just like telling myself like, you're making art every day, like it's okay if not everything is great. Like I haven't really been thinking like that. I've been more like, I know it's hard to make art so often, but I still want to create good art that I'm happy with. So I think that's been a little bit different from previous years. Previously, I've had more of a focus on just making something every day, and the results haven't been super important, I think. I mean, no, that's not true. Like I always care about the results, but I think I've just had a little bit of like a higher standard this year is what I'm trying to say here. And so another goal, I guess, has been to just put effort into what I create, which kind of is the same as the other thing that I said. But I've definitely just wanted to do my best, and I've wanted things to turn out good. So I definitely feel like I've been able to succeed with that, and that makes me very happy. I also wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about this portrait. So this portrait was something that I did for the prompt Crypted, but I actually started this portrait before Magtober even started. So I had only really done this sketch and laid down a base color, and then I kind of abandoned it. And so when Magtober came around, I was like, okay, I will use this for one of the prompts whenever I need it, because sometimes you're like, oh God, I don't know what to do for this prompt. And so I figured maybe I would be able to do something with it for one of the days, which I ended up doing. So for day 10, the prompt was Crypted. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly. So I decided to finish this portrait. I did the portrait just like a normal portrait, and then I figured for like the background, or as like part of the portrait, I would add these like cryptid figures, which if you don't know what cryptid is, I think it's like kind of like the Loch Ness monster, like stuff that people have like said existed but no one knows, or I don't know, something like that. So I added some figures to this portrait, and I had a lot of fun doing this portrait. I definitely feel like I was able to loosen up a little bit. Something I do love with this challenge is the fact that you only have so much time to do something, and so that kind of forces you to be a little bit more loose and just do stuff and to not think about things too much. And I'm such a perfectionist. We all know this by now, or maybe you didn't, but now you do. It's really good for me to have this challenge to limit myself with my time and just make sure I don't overwork a piece and do things a little bit quicker. And it's a really nice practice to apply to your art. So something I did with this piece was that I left the hair looking kind of rough and messy, which I usually don't. As I said, I'm a perfectionist, and so I like to work on details for a long time until it's like up to my standard. But since there was a time limit, I left the hair a little bit rough, which I think I really like that. And there were like some elements to the face, like the brush strokes that were a little bit more rough. And I really am so grateful towards this challenge for opening up, like, I guess that part of me. I don't know how to explain it, and that sounded very dramatic, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with this prompt, and I really like how it turned out. Hi guys, today is October 11th. It's day 11 of magtober. Should I maybe put this? No, let me sit down. It's day 11. I am not gonna do the prompt today because the prompt is oil slick, and I feel like I wouldn't do anything good with this prompt. And usually I don't avoid prompts because I feel like I can't do them, because for the most part I want to challenge myself. I want to challenge myself even if it's something I feel like I can't do. But this one I was like, what could I possibly do with that would even be remotely interesting to me? So I was like, I'm just not gonna do it. And I do have some other stuff to do today that I have to prioritize before that, like schoolwork. Can't believe I have to do that. So yeah, I decided to not do today. But yeah, we're 11 days into magtober. It's been going pretty dang well, like despite everything. I've had so much schoolwork. I don't even know how the heck I've been able to do all this stuff. And I've been so tired. This week I've like slept a little bit more than usual. I think on Monday I literally took a nap at like 4 p.m. and woke up at like, I don't even know, I slept for a long time, but I really needed that. And I did complete most of my homework. The only thing that I have to do right now is I have to do some sketchbook stuff for my drawing class, and then I have to do a big drawing. But other than that, I've done all of my other homework. I am going to school tomorrow, which means I'll be getting more homework, but hopefully it's not like too much work. I don't think it will be either way. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today. As I said, I've been very tired, just like on the what's the word, brink of burnout. I don't know. I just have done so much stuff, but I feel like we're getting better. But I just wanted to update y'all. I feel like I don't know if I've done that so far. But yeah, later today I'm gonna start the prompt for tomorrow, which is pick one thing and fill up a page of studies. And that is a prompt that I've done for magtober the 2 other times that I did this. This time I'm gonna take a very different route. When I've done this in the past, I did facial features in ballpoint pen both times. And this time I'm like, I wanna do something that feels like me right now. And that doesn't really feel like my style anymore. So I think I might do a shark spread if I can find the time. If not, I might try to do something a little bit more simple. But yeah, that's what's up in this moment. Hope you enjoyed those clips of the antique store. It's been nice to be able to get out of the house sometimes during this month and this challenge, because I've been so busy. So being able to just take a little bit of time to do other stuff has been great. But anyway, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about is how this year has been different from any other time that I've done this. So the first thing that is like doesn't really have anything to do with the challenge is that I live in a new country. I'm going to school. I'm a full-time student, and so obviously my life is very different, which means that I've had, I guess, I don't know how to explain this, but I used to have a job back in Sweden. And so I would work, you know, several hours in a day. And so it was really hard back then to do this challenge, because I would start work at like noon and I would get out at like 8 p.m. So I would have to make art during the evening. Now, I could have done it in the morning, but I was never a morning person back then, so I did it in the evening. So it's definitely been different now that I'm a student. I definitely have more work to do, but I get out of school around like noon. So I do have like the middle of the day to make art, which has been really nice because I feel like that's when it's kind of the easiest for me to make art, because I get so tired in the evening now. I've become like a complete grandma, so it's been super nice to be able to make art during the day. I also feel like I've become a lot more efficient in my art practice. I feel like I can make art pieces in less amount of time, which has been very helpful for this challenge. If we're gonna do like an average time spent on each piece, I would probably say it's around 2 hours. Most of them I make in like 2 to 3 hours. Some of them have taken me a little bit longer. I think there was one art piece that took me like maybe 4 hours, but for the most part they don't take me too long to make, and so it's nice to be able to come home from school in the middle of the day and just kind of quickly come up with something. Something else that has been different is that I haven't been thinking too hard about what to draw. I feel like in the previous years that I've done this, the 2 other times that I've done this, I've really thought hard about what to do. And I think I was watching Very Little Peach. She was talking about doing this October challenge, and she was saying that you shouldn't think too much about it because we only have so much time to do this, and so you should try to make it as easy as possible for yourself. I thought that was very good advice, so that is definitely something that I've been trying to implement. I've just like tried to not think too hard about it and just do what feels good and whatever comes to mind. So that's been very helpful for me this time around. Something else that I've done, which I didn't think I would be doing, but it makes sense, is that I have really been staying within my comfort zone. Now, a lot of people might think that that's a bad thing, like you shouldn't stay within your comfort zone. You should, try to step out of your comfort zone and improve and do new things and whatever. But I feel like, especially with kind of like the time constraint, the fact that I'm doing art every day, it's been a lot easier for me to just do stuff that I know that feels good to me. And so I feel like that's been super different compared to previous years. Like I've really tried to do new things. I've tried to like come up with new ideas. But this year I've focused more on just doing either like subjects that I've done before. For example, sharks. I've done a lot of portraits. It's mostly been stuff that I've done before. And as I said, I didn't used to think that that was a good approach or something you should do maybe, but it's been very helpful because of the fact that you have this pressure of time, this pressure of creating something every day, even though I haven't been doing it every day, but I've almost been doing it every day. So it's been super helpful to just like do stuff that I know how to do, to just like stay within my comfort zone, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The last thing that I want to talk about before we wrap this video up is why I choose to do Magtober instead of any other prompt list. I feel like I have very specific reasons for this. So I think that Magtober is probably one of the only prompt lists that I've seen where you can really interpret the prompts in a lot of different ways. I mean, I'm sure this probably applies to a lot of other prompt lists. I think that Mags is very good at coming up with stuff that isn't just like an object or, something that is like very obvious. I think that a lot of the things are things that you can interpret in different ways. I don't really like when the prompts are too obvious. I think that there are a few prompts on her prompt list that are like very straightforward, which can be nice sometimes. And so I like the fact that there's kind of like a mix between straightforward prompts and then prompts that you can do whatever with. So that is a very big reason for why I like to do this specific prompt list. I also feel like it really brings out my creativity and I feel really motivated. It's like the only prompt list that I've seen that I've been like, oh my god, I want to do this so bad. I don't really feel like that with any of the other prompt lists I've seen, and so that is mainly why I like to do Magtober and not any other prompt list, because the prompts are just so fun. You can interpret them in so many different ways, but then some days they are a little bit more obvious if you kind of like need a break and you just want to do something mindlessly. But yeah, I love Magtober. It's like my favorite time of year. And yeah, shout out to Max Monroe for creating literally the best prompt list every single year.
A reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. You're worth it. You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Hi, welcome to the outro. Before I close this video off, I wanted to talk about a few specific art pieces. Some are not in the video, so let's see here. I have a lot of sketchbooks. I've done all of these in sketchbooks, 3 separate ones. But anyway, first thing that I want to talk about is the first art piece that I made. I don't want to say too much about this other than I love how this turned out. I feel like I haven't been using graphite that much lately, except for like in school and stuff, but I haven't done portraits with it, and so I felt like I could really like, even though this doesn't really make sense because whatever, I feel like I have been able to tell an improvement. Like I feel like I'm getting better at graphite, even though I haven't been practicing it that much. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like sometimes when you step away from a medium for a while, you kind of like mentally mature, and then when you come back to it, you're like better at it. I don't know if that's just me. Then I'm not going to show you all of the, or like talk about all of the art pieces, because I don't feel the need to do that. But I also wanted to talk about this. So this wasn't in the video, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I love how this turned out. This might be my favorite thing that I've done so far in Magtober. Yeah, I'm just in love with this. I put in a lot of effort into this. It took me a few hours, maybe 3 or 4, but I really like made sure that it was good, because when you're doing something like this, sometimes, or at least for me, I end up rushing the art because I want to post it at like a specific time or whatever, or I just want to get it done in general. Also, I feel like I should not be bending that. My sketchbook is like falling apart. So I tried to really not rush this one, and I think it turned out so cute. I love this. So kind of just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and then yeah, that's pretty much the pieces that I wanted to talk about. As I said in the voiceover, there were 2 art pieces that I made in week 1 and 2 that I didn't like, but for the most part I've really been enjoying the things that I've been making, so I'm really happy about that. Anyway, if you want to see part 2 of this Magtober series and see all of the, or some of the artworks that I made in week 3 and 4 and hear my conclusion of the whole thing, make sure you're subscribed so you can remember me. And yeah, I appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!